Welcome to El Segundo High School, everybody. It is the Channel 22 Sports Game of the Week. I'm Lou Stowers, and with Tom Strickfadden and the terrific Channel 22 Sports crew, this is our first baseball game of the season, and it will feature Lawndale High School and El Segundo High School in the Pioneer League. El Segundo is on top of the Pioneer League at 5-0 with a record of 14-9 overall. The Cardinals are 3-15. Check that, 2-15 overall, and 0-5 in Pioneer League action. Let's go over the starting lineups for the El Segundo team. And the El Segundo Eagles defeated the Cardinals at El Segundo last time out, 17-2. Bryce Savage will lead off and play in right field, followed by Max Mendoza, the designated hitter. Then it'll be Justin McCullough, the catcher, Grant Palmer at shortstop, Nigel Rohrbar, he will be the center fielder, and Michael Bundy will be the third baseman. At first base, Eric Batty, and the first pitch is in for a strike. Eric Batty will be at first base. Then it'll be Trent Mietas at second base, and R.J. Fuhrer will be in left field. Savage, 0-2 right now. David Gonzalez is the pitcher for the Cardinals. A very young Cardinal team. There's Bryce, a right-handed hitter. Fouls this one back. Let's go over the defense of the Cardinals. Over at third base, Josue Loya. Steven Randolph, a freshman, at shortstop. Dylan Banuelos is the second baseman, and a base hit into left field, and that begins the game for the El Segundo Eagles. And that'll bring up Max Mendoza, the designated hitter. Continuing with the infield for the Cardinals, over at first base, it'll be Rick Mercado. In the outfield, from left to right, it'll be Steve Franco, Alex Alvarado, and Danny Villegas. And a balk called on David Gonzalez. So down to second base goes Bryce Savage. Behind the plate, Rick Gomez, another freshman for the Cardinals. And David Gonzalez delivering the pitch high to Max Mendoza. It's 2-0. Greg Hancock is the head coach of the Cardinals. And a ground ball to second base. Easy throw out for Banuelos. 4-3 on the put up, but on the play, Savage goes down to first base. So one down, and that'll bring up Justin McCullough, the big catcher for El Segundo. Before the game, a nice little pregame ceremony. This one's low, a breaking ball. 1-0. Coach Stevenson recently passed away, was the coach at El Segundo, involved with baseball there for many, many decades. And so both teams coming out, to the Cardinals on the third base line, the Eagles on the first base line, the catchers at home plate with a moment of silence. And it's 2-0 now to Justin McCullough with one down in the top of the first inning. Another breaking ball, and now it's 3-0. The Eagles are soaring in the Pioneer League. And as you can hear, the wind is unbelievably strong coming on shore. And that one was right down the middle, 3-1. Gonzalez out of the stretch, and this one's fouled back by McCullough over to the Ken Crane's outlet store. So it's 3-2, full count now to McCullough. McCullough was 1 for 1 against the Cardinals in the last game they played. Swung on a miss on an off-speed pitch, and down goes McCullough for the first strikeout for David Gonzalez. Gonzalez coming in, pitching 14 2/3 innings, and this one gets by the catcher Gomez, but Savage stays put, and it's ball 1 to Palmer. Palmer coming in, hitting .506, and this one again is in the dirt. Gomez having to make the stop, and Gonzalez coming down to cover. The 9 Cardinals that you see, that's it for today. This one's fouled back. 2-1. A little bit thin. And our old buddy, we know him from Lusinger High School as the PA announcer for football and sometimes for basketball. Albert Gonzalez is helping out with the Cardinal program here, coaching the JV team who went over to El Segundo. And this one's lined right at the first baseman for the putout, and Eric Mercado, and that'll do it. So leadoff hit and 1 man left for the Eagles, and we'll go to the bottom of the first inning, no score. Bottom of the first inning, and it will be this for the Cardinals against Josh Bornstein and the Eagles. The lineup will be Alex Alvarado, the center fielder, followed by Steven Rudolph at shortstop, Dylan Bonuelos, the second baseman, and then it'll be Danny Villegas hitting cleanup and in right field. The third baseman, Josue Loya, then Stephen Franco, the left fielder, followed by David Gonzalez, the pitcher, then the catcher, Brian Gomez, and wrapping things up, it'll be Rick Mendoza, the first baseman. Josh Bornstein comes in at 3-2, the big right-hander. He will be throwing balls and strikes to Justin McCullough. First pitch is in the dirt for a ball. And it sure doesn't hurt for Josh that his coach is Billy Traber, former major leaguer. This one is on the outside corner for a strike. Alex coming in, batting .250, is tied for the lead in hits and runs scored on this team. Swings and misses. Had a fastball that was up. It's 1-2. Alex was 1 for 4 against the Eagles last time these two teams met. And that sound you hear, that's Mother Nature. We've had strong winds for the past week, kind of let up overnight, but then they came back. And I tell you what, I know that a lot of people think that I'm a little nutty, but I think the full moon is in a bad spot in the sky, creating a lot of this havoc. Pitch is fouled back. Still 1-2. Alex, a junior, 5'9", 150. Foul tipped and almost into the glove of McCullough, but staying alive is Alvarado. Let's go over the defense for the Eagles. From third to first, Michael Bundy is over at third base. Grant Palmer is at shortstop. Trent Mietos is at second base. Another foul back by Gonzalez, or check that, Alvarado. And over at first base, Eric Batty. And in the outfield, R.J. Fuhrer. If that name rings a bell, it sure does. Former L.A. Kings and Edmonton Oilers goalie Grant Fuhrer is his dad. Ground ball to third base. Bundy over to Batty. 5-3 on the putout. And Grant Fuhrer was also a pretty good baseball player and a heck of a golfer. Over in center field is Nigel Nootbaar, and Bryce Savage is in right field. A strike to Steven Randolph, and he fouls this one back. This young man, just a freshman. As a matter of fact, he wears number 6. He's so young, he may have to have that to go out to his position. A curveball in the dirt, and down goes Rudolph. swinging and missing. First strikeout for Bornstein. So Steven getting fooled by Bornstein. First pitch is a strike to Dylan Bonuelos. Bornstein is just a sophomore, 6'3", 185. Looks very poised out there. A fastball swung on and missed. Strike two to Dylan Bonuelos. This one's lined down the right field line, and that is a fair ball. Bonuelos is going to stay there at second base because right on it was the right fielder, Savage, and a two-out base hit for Dylan. That'll bring up Danny Villegas. Dylan also has a brother here, and Carlos on the team. Dylan batting .250, just raised that up a notch. Danny Villegas coming in, batting .167. Danny, a 5'4" sophomore. This is a little dribbler up the right field line, first base line, and picked up by Bornstein, and that'll do it for the threat of the Cardinals. But they get a hit and leave a man. Going into the second inning, no score. Nigel Nootbaar will lead things off for the Eagles. No score. Nootbaar, a big left-handed batter. And going up against David Gonzalez. And a big looping curveball is outside for a ball. Tom Strickfadden, mute please. In the dirt for ball 3. He'll be followed by Michael Bundy and Eric Batty. Just the start of things, and that's on the outside corner for a strike, 3-1. Nootbaar is a 6'1" junior, and this one's in the dirt, and going down to first base for a leadoff walk is Nootbaar. And that'll bring up Michael Bundy. Bundy batting .314 coming in. And going down to second base and stealing second base is Nootbaar. So now there's the first runner in scoring position. Bundy batting .314 with 21 RBI, so he can get things done. And now it's 2-1 to Michael Bundy. Calling balls and strikes is Steve Morgan. Joe Howard is out on the bases. 2-2 now. Nootbaar, a nice lead at second base, and now the pickoff try, a good one, and making the tag is Dylan Bonuelos. So bird dogging behind Nootbaar is Steven Randolph, the freshman. The way the wind is blowing in from right field is a ground ball to second and through underneath the legs of Randolph. And actually, did that hit Nootbaar? Yes, it did. So Nootbaar is out as the ball hit him. And there you see Eric Batty. So we'll give that 6 unassisted, even though the ball was hit by Bundy, who is on a fielder's choice. And the ball Gets away from Gonzalez. Rick Gomez. And down to second base is Bundy on the pass ball. So Eric Batty coming in, batting .276 with 14 RBI. And looks at a strike. One and one to Batty, playing first base. Swung on a miss on a nice breaking ball. Now it's 1-2. Bundy over at second base. Doesn't have as big a lead as Nootbaar did. Another breaking ball, and strike three called on the inside corner. Nice pitch by David Gonzalez, and that's his second strikeout. That'll bring up Trent Mietos. Miera. Sometimes those lineup cards are hard to read. He's wearing number 14 today. This one's grounded up the third baseline. Nice pickup by Loya, and throws it on to Mercado for the final out of the inning. So no hits, but a man left, and no score going into the bottom of the second. Back here at Lawndale High School, no score between the Eagles and the Cardinals. And this wind is just ripping up the paperwork here, even though it's taped down. First pitch to Jesse Loya. Tom Strickfaden, please mute. And Loya pops this one up, and the shortstop Grant Palmer says he has it and puts it away for the first out. That'll bring up Steven Franco, followed by the pitcher David Gonzalez. Franco coming in batting .200. Was 0 for 3 against the Eagles last time out against the Eagles, a 5'7" senior. And he bounces this one, chops up the third base line, and it's going to roll foul. So waiting for Franco to come back. Nothing going yet. This is going to be probably a lower scoring affair than the last time out. Well, that wind is just really blasting in from right field. Here comes the next pitch, a fastball, and on the inside corner for a strike. And it's 1-2 now to Franco. Franco in left field today for the Cardinals. Looks at strike three, and Steven knew it. Second strikeout for Bornstein. And that'll bring up David Gonzalez, the pitcher. David is a 6-foot senior and looks at a strike. David was 1 for 3 with an RBI against the Eagles last time out. David choking up on that red bat. Batting .229. Has 8 hits, 3 RBIs, and a triple in that collection. He went around on that one. Strike 2. So now it's 1-2 to David Gonzalez. And Josh Bornstein is really getting in a rhythm. And that was a little breaking ball and took something off of it, and down goes Gonzalez, and the Cardinals 1, 2, 3 go the Redbirds. We're going to the third inning, no score. Eagles sending up R.J. Fuhr, followed by the top of the order, and Bryce Savage and Max Mendoza. Fuhr steps in and hacks away. R.J., we were saying, is the son of hockey great Grant Fuhr, who played for the Edmonton Oilers and won 4 Stanley Cups with Wayne Gretzky up here and then followed him down to L.A. Here comes Gonzalez pitch. That's in the dirt for a ball. RJ was 2 for 3 with 2 doubles and 2 RBI and a run scored against the Cardinals last time out in their 17-2 win. Fuhr batting .310 coming in, so he knows how to swing the bat. And he's butting for a hit, and this is going to be a good one. Gonzalez picks it up and throws, and overthrows the first baseman, Mercado. And on at first is R.J. Fuhr with a bunt single. That'll bring up the top of the order, and Bryce Savage, who led off the game with a base hit to left field. So now the Eagles, second time around on Gonzalez. See if they figured him out, and now they're going to run. R.J. Fuhr steals the base, sliding in head first ahead of the tag from Rick Gomez. So that's the second steal off of Gonzalez and Gomez. So now Fuhr is in scoring position. Curveball, and that's in the dirt. Nice stop by Gomez. Gonzalez looks back. Another curveball, and that's in the dirt. 2-1. Gonzalez on the stretch. Fastball, and that's right up the middle and through for a base hit. Fuhr is going to take the turn and come home, and the throw is past home plate. It's 1-0 Eagles on the single by Bryce Savage. Well, we'll give him a double. How about that? No, it's a base hit, and then he took second on the throw. But he gets an RBI out of it. And for Savage, that's RBI number 21. Max Mendoza pops it to shortstop, where it's taken care of by Steven Randolph. The only thing a fly ball is going to do here is just go straight up in the air and just get caught in that wind as Justin McCullough, the catcher, comes in. Struck out his first time up. 1-0 Eagles on the RBI hit by Bryce Savage, and he's going to steal third base as the curveball is in the dirt, and Gomez can't do anything with it except throw it back to David Gonzalez. So the MO of the Eagles today is going to be they're going to run, because they know that it's not going to be so easy scoring runs. And this one's a line drive down the left field line by McCullough. In to score is Savage. McCullough is going to motor into third base on the throw in by Steve Franco. And it's 2-0 Eagles on the RBI double by Justin McCullough. For McCullough, that's RBI number 20. And that's his 10th double of the year. So McCullough, the 6'2" senior, continues to play well. Had 2 RBI and a double last time these two teams met earlier in the week. And that'll bring up Grant Palmer. Palmer lined out to first base to end the first inning. This one's in the dirt, gets by Gomez, and down to third base without a throw is McCullough. So the one aspect that the Cardinals need to do now is just not get frustrated and just do fundamentally the best they can against this strong Eagle team. Nice breaking ball and a strike. So it's 1-1 to Palmer. McCullough at third. Here comes the pitch by Gonzalez, and that's in the dirt. 3-1. Nootbaar's on deck, the big left-handed hitter for the Eagles. Here comes the 3-1, and that's a fastball right down Marine Avenue. So it's full count now to Palmer. Palmer coming in, batting .506. Curveball, and that's hit high in the air to left field, coming over for it in foul ground, and it goes out of play. Steve Franco going over to try to flag it down, but that's just how hard this wind is blowing. The ball went up in the air, and it's just coming right back at us. It's a beautiful day, but then no clouds can have a chance against this wind today. And this one's hit high in the air to center field, but you have to come in to get that one, and dropped by Alex Alvarado because it just really stopped, and then the wind just knocked it down. It was a routine fly ball that was just knocked right down. So it's an RBI hit for Grant Palmer. In to score is McCullough, and it's 3-0. And there was really nothing Alex could do except come in on that one, because you just have to judge that wind. And a hit and run, as out of position was Steven Rudolph, and coming over to third base is Grant Palmer. Now, Palmer is over at third base. Nootbaar swinging on the first pitch on a hit and run. And with the left-hander up, Steven Randolph went over to cover second base. So he did the right thing, but Nootbaar did a great piece of hitting and hit the ball to left center field. It's 3-0 Eagles, as Michael Bundy steps in. Was on a fielder's choice back in the second inning. Nootbaar over at first. Over at third base is Palmer. Palmer with an RBI single. And Nootbaar steals second base, and Gomez does the smart thing and keeps Palmer in check. Keeps him over at third base after Nootbaar had a terrific jump. Gonzalez out of the stretch, and this one's hit into right field. It drops in. Here comes Palmer. Here comes Nootbaar. The throw is missed by Gomez, and it's now 5-0 in favor of the Eagles on the single by Michael Bundy. So that was wind blown as well. So for Michael Bundy, 2 RBIs, that gives him 23 on the year. And that brings in Eric Batty, who looks at a pitch in the dirt. Eric struck out in the second inning. That one was low and away, so it's 2-0 now. Batty is the 8th batter for the Eagles in the inning. That one one's in for a strike, 2-1. It all started off with R.J. Fuhr's bunt single. He came around to score on Bryce Savage's hit, and this one's grounded to second base. Randolph wanted to try to get the double play, but he gets the play at first, so a good play by Steven Randolph to keep his poise and get the sure out. And on the play, Michael Bundy goes to second base. That'll bring up Trent Miera. Trent coming in, batting .300 when he started off the day as he grounded out to third base to end the second inning. So 2 down now for the Eagles. Runner at first and a strike called on Miera. Actually, runners at first and second, so ground ball to second base. Randolph getting the runner at third and the force out. And okay, so Eric Batty must have been safe over at first base on the fielder's choice. Out at third is Michael Bundy, 6-5, and over at second base is Batty, and Trent Miera is out, or check that, he is on first with a fielder's choice. Okay, and coming up for the second time in the inning is R.J. Fuhr. Bunted for a single, stolen base, and then was singled home by Bryce Savage. Foul back. Let's see one of the LA County Sheriff's helicopters up in the air. On a day like today, I don't think I'd want to be up in that egg beater. So runner at second for the Eagles, or first and second. This is popped down the line. A chance, and running out of room is Eric Mercado. So Fuhr steps back in. Gonzalez in the stretch, and a curveball is hit up in the air into left field, and that's going to drop in. Actually, that's right over second base, and coming in, and the tag is made by Gomez, and out at the plate is Eric Batty to end the inning. So a nice play by Gomez to make the tag, and that'll do it for the Eagles. So the Eagles get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runs in the inning and lead the Cardinals going into the bottom of the third, 5-0. Bottom of the third inning, Brian Gomez, Rick Mercado, and then the top of the order, and Alex Alvarado for the Lawndale Cardinals, looking to break through on Josh Bornstein. 5-0 in favor of the Eagles. They get 5 runs on 6 hits as 10 Eagles come to bat, and a high fastball from Bornstein is in for a strike is Gomez, another freshman on this varsity team. Tom Strickfadden, thank you, and swung on and missed, 0-2. Gomez batting .364 and looks at strike 3 and another strikeout for Josh Bornstein. Four strikeouts for Josh, and that'll bring up Rick Mercado, the third baseman. Looks at a fastball outside. Rick was 2 for 3 with a double against the Eagles last time out at El Segundo. This one's in the dirt for a ball. Rick is a 6-foot junior. He'll be back for another year. Batting 125 coming in. Fastball, a good one. Strike. And it's 2-1. Man, Borstein pulled that out of his hat. Is kind of lulling Mercado to sleep. Borstein with the 2-1, and that's fouled back. There's Mercado. That woke him up too. There you see Rick wearing the candy apple red helmet. Josh Bornstein. Fists it foul over first base, and Batty going to pick it off, and that'll be 1 down. I can check that, 2 down. Alex Alvarado, the leadoff hitter, was a tough out to lead things off for the Cardinals. He eventually grounded out to first base. That's a tough outfield out there. Alex will be the first one to tell you. Oop, look out. Squared the bunt, and that ball went over Alex's head. So 1-0. Over at third base is Michael Bundy. Now he's even with the cut of the grass. And Alvarado looking to bunt again. Looks down at third base coach Stu Swigum. Excuse me. Fastball right down the middle. Coach Collier over at first base for the Cardinals, and the real coach of Lawndale High School. Here comes Bornstein's pitch, and that's popped up, and that one hits the screen. Kayla Phillips. She's the freshman team manager, and she's even managing the coaches. As it's 2-2 now to Alex Alvarado. Just a freshman, but she is full of numbers and baseball knowledge. Swing and a miss, and Alex Alvarado and the Cardinals are down in the bottom of the 3rd inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Redbirds. We're going to the 4th. The Eagles on top. The Eagles will send Bryce Savage and Max Mendoza, followed by Justin McCullough, the 1, 2, 3 batters in the Eagles order. They leave 5-0, scoring 5 runs on 6 hits. Bryce knocked in the first run of the game, knocking in R.J. Fuhr with a single, or we could give him a double. This one's in the dirt, 1-0. Had a stolen base to go along with that run batted in. And this one's grounded down the line and into left field for a base hit. Savage hits first and goes to second for a leadoff double. So for Savage, that is double number 9. And that'll bring up Max Mendoza, the designated hitter. So the Eagles have figured out David Gonzalez, trying valiantly to hold things up. And the Cardinals, again, they're very thin. Only 9 players eligible for today's game. The Eagles are coached by Craig Cousins. Over at third base is Greg McMullen, an outstanding baseball player in his own right. And Bobby Summers is coaching over at first base. Pitching coach is Billy Traber. Now we have a pinch hitter for the Eagles. And number 19 is David Bell. So Bell coming in, hitting .333. Can't check his swing, and it's 1-1. And this one's in the dirt. 2-1. So Savage over at second base, being watched closely by Dylan Banuelos. Gonzalez, the stretch, and this is in the dirt. 3-1. So David Bell is a 5'10 junior, 145 pounds, and has 4 RBIs and swings and fouls this one at the plate. So now it's a full count. David Bell stands back in. Gonzalez getting the sign from Gomez. Looks back at Savage. And swings and misses on a breaking ball that fooled Bell. And that's the third strikeout for David Gonzalez. And that'll bring up big Justin McCullough. McCullough popped out to short. He's 0 for 3 today. Actually, check that. No, he's 1 for 2. And he hammers this one into left field. And that one is gone. A home run for Justin McCullough, as Steve Franco and Alex Alvarado just chased that one and they ran out of fence. And Justin McCullough, the big kid, hammers this one home and gets his team leading 5th home run. And it's 7-0 Eagles on McCullough's 7th home run of the year. And that was a shot, especially in this wind. And that'll bring up Grant Palmer. And he bunts it up the third baseline. That's a beauty as Gonzalez picks it up, and he just has to put that in his glove. So the home run is followed up by a bunt. And Palmer is on first base for another good hitter, Nigel Nootbaar. Nigel came in batting .447 with a team leading 34 RBI. Curveball is outside. No RBI today, but he is 1 for 1 with a walk and a base hit and a run scored. Turns on the fastball and pulls that foul. So Nootbaar was tied with McCullough for the home run lead at 5. But unless he hits it the other way, Nigel is, I don't think there's a high probability, unless he hits one right now, where the wind just died down momentarily. Don't think Nigel's going to get his 5th home run today. Now the wind is calmed down just a bit. Gonzalez took something off of it, and it's 2-1 now to Nigel. Nigel, a 6'1 junior, and a good one. And this one's lined into right field for a base hit. Solid hit. Picked up by Villegas and guns it into second base. But the Eagles have runners at first and second with 1 out. So Nootbaar is just a hitting machine. Has been on base all 3 times with 1 walk. Has risen that batting average above .447, and now stepping in is Michael Bundy, who is 1 for 2, was on a fielder's choice in the 2nd inning and had a 2-run single back in the 3rd inning. Looks at strike 1. Top of the 4th, 7-0 in favor of the Eagles. And this one's looped over second base and into right center field. Picked up by Villegas, and rounding third and coming home is Palmer. It's 8-0 in favor of the Eagles, and the throw is just a little late. Stopping at second is Nootbaar. And Bundy now has 3 RBIs. That'll bring up Eric Batty. That one runs high for a ball. Eric is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fielder's choice. This one's hit in the air to left center field, and this one is going to go through the wall. And a ground rule double for Eric Batty. And coming in to score is Nootbaar. And that makes it 9-0 in favor of the Eagles on the ground rule double by Eric Batty. So an RBI for Batty. And that gives him 14 on the year. Speaking of number 14, Trent Miera stepping in with runners in scoring position at second and third. Trent 0 for 2, grounded to third and was on a fielder's choice and stranded at first in the third inning. 1-1 to Trent. Trent with 3 RBI, just a sophomore, and looks at ball 2, 2-1. Gonzalez not wasting any time. Now it's 3-1. Bryce Savage started off the inning with a base hit. Then David Bell struck out, and Justin McCullough hit a 2-run bomb. And this one is snagged by Gonzalez for the out. Or that was ticketed to center field and could have scored at least one. So a terrific play by Gonzalez. And now that's 2 down for R.J. Fuhr, who is the 9th batter to step in. Curveball, that stays up and in. Fuhr started the big 5-run inning for the Eagles off with a bunt single and hits this one to second base, smothered by Banuelos, and throws it on to Mercado for the out. But the damage is done again. 4 more runs cross the plate. The big hit, Justin McCullough's 5th home run of the year, and it's 9-0 in favor of the Eagles. And let's look at the home run by Justin McCullough. Oh, this is Gonzalez's line drive catch, and there you see him right in between the chain link fence there. Nice play by Gonzalez. What's that? Back here at Lawndale High School, and leadoff, that's a ground ball to second base where Miera, actually it was a line drive to second base, and Miera snags the line drive. So Stephen Rudolph with the putouts, and Dylan Banuelos will step in. He had a single back in the first inning, and that's the only hit for the Cardinals today, who trail 9-0. This one's bounced foul. So the Eagles leading the Pioneer League with a 5-0 league record, as this one's fouled at the plate. 0-2. And are 14-9 overall. There you see Dylan. Dylan, a 5'9" junior, and he swings and fouls this one back, just barely getting a piece of it. New catcher behind the plate for the Eagles, Kaz Cousins, number 13, taking over for Justin McCullough after Justin hit the big 2-run home run. So now it's 1-2 to Banuelos, who's waiting out Bornstein in his 4th inning of work, and he chops this one, and it's cut off by the third baseman Bundy, who makes a nice throw. 5-3 on the putout, and that'll bring up Danny Villegas. Danny bounced out to the pitcher to end the 1st inning. Danny, a 5'4" sophomore, looking to get his first hit off of the Eagles. Looks at this one high. Nobody throwing in the Eagle bullpen. As Craig Cousins and Billy Traver might be seeing how long Bornstein can go. It's 2-0 now to Villegas. Cardinals just need to show some patience, and this one is fouled back, or fouled over to the first base dugout on a high fastball. But for a right-handed hitter, those fastballs up around the eyes are just too tough to lay off. So 9-0 in favor of the Eagles, looking to sweep the league series with the Cardinals, and this one is inside now, 3-1. Yeah, there's the wind. Boy, we missed it while it was gone for a while. Now the count is full, 3-2 to Danny. Big things ahead for him here with the Cardinal baseball program. 3-2 pitch, swung on and missed, and down go the Cardinals. 1-2-3 again for the 3rd inning in a row. So Josh Bornstein is on a roll, and the Cardinals just can't do anything with the stuff that Bornstein is bringing from the Eagles. It is going into the 5th inning with the Eagles soaring over the Cardinals. Going into the top of the 5th inning, Kaz Stone will step in, taking over the leadoff spot from Bryce Savage. Zach, 6 foot, 165-pound sophomore. Looks like a good one. And a line drive base hit into center field for Zach, and he didn't waste any time. And we have a new pitcher out there. It's number 23, Danny Villegas. And now we might have another pinch hitter coming up for the Eagles. And nope, that's David Bell. He's still going to be the designated hitter. Took over for Max Mendoza back in the 4th inning, and he struck out. 9-0. So Danny Villegas taking over for David Gonzalez here in the 5th inning. Bell now looking at the left-hander. Curveball, and that's hit high in the air into right field. It's going to have to come in, and the catch is made and almost doubled off. At first base is Zach Stone. So Bell is out, and I believe that's Gonzalez out there in right field now. And stepping in And that is McCullough. And he lines a hit into left field for a base hit. Okay. So McCullough must be designated hitting now. And we'll find out where Kaz Cousins is. So now over at second base is Zach Stone. Over at first is Justin McCullough. And Grant Palmer looks at his first pitch from Danny Gonzalez in the dirt. Gonzalez is 2 for 3. 2 base hits, an RBI, and 2 runs scored. Lined out to first base in the first inning. Fastball is just inside. This one's lined up the middle and into center field for the base hit. Here comes the throw in to Gomez and hits it over to the pitcher, Villegas. But that goes awry on the backhanded try, and in to score is Zach Stone, and it's 10-0 in favor of the Eagles. And moving up to third base on the play is McCullough, and Palmer to second base, and he'll be credited with the RBI single. So 2 RBI for Grant Palmer on the day. And now we have a pinch hitter for Nigel Nootbaar, the center fielder. And that is number 21, and Eric Gronhagen. Gronhagen, a 5'9" freshman. And he pops it up into the air into that wind-blown sky, and that's handled nicely by Dylan Banuelos. That'll bring up Bundy. First pitch to Bundy is in for a strike. Michael is 2 for 3. 2 base hits to right field and was on a fielder's choice. Chops this one up the middle, cut off by Randolph, and makes the throw. And that'll do it for the Eagles as Danny Villegas does a good job coming in relief. 1 run on 2 hits. Check that, 3 hits and 2 left. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th inning. 10-0 Eagles. And new pitcher for the Eagles, taking over for Josh Bornstein, is Kyle Crawford. Kyle's a big left-hander, and the first batter he'll fade is Jose Loya, just in his second at bat. So Josh Bornstein, in his 4 innings, gave up no runs on 1 hit in 4 innings and 4 strikeouts. And no walks. Just pitched to 1 Cardinal over the minimum in his 4 innings. Fastball, and that's grounded foul. Past third base coach Stu Swigum. Josue wearing number 4 on his back at third base. And this one is high and away. Gets away from Kaz Cousins, the new catcher. There's a good look at Kyle. Kyle is a 6'6" junior. And this one's lined into left field, and it's played on a hop by R.J. Fuhr, and a leadoff single for Josue Loya. So just the second hit given up by Eagle pitching. And the leadoff man is on for Steven Franco. Steve struck out looking back in the second inning. Swings and misses at the first offering from Crawford. Crawford comes in with 12 strikeouts as walked 8 batters. 1-1 to Franco. And has a 3.91 ERA. And this one's grounded to third base, picked up by Bundy. On to second for 1 to first, and the throw gets away. So Loya is out 5-4. And on at first is Franco in the fielder's choice. So 1 down for David Gonzalez, who now is playing right field, as Danny Villegas came in from right field to take over at pitcher. Curveball, and that's bounced right back to Crawford. Goes to second for 1, and nope, it's dropped by the second baseman, Miera. As the throw went one way, Miera went the other, and he was caught a little off guard by Crawford. Maybe he thought that Crawford was going to go to first for the easy way, as Crawford wanted to get that double play and out of the inning. So an error. They have to call that on Miera because he touched the ball. And a fielder's choice. Gonzalez is on first on a fielder's choice. Brian Gomez steps in. Check that, Rick Gomez. And he grounds this one foul. So Brian Gomez, one of the 2 freshmen, has a chance to get at least 1 run, and that pickoff throw is just a little bit short, smothered by Miera, or actually the shortstop, Grant Palmer. So Gomez and a chance to hurt the Eagles. Swings and misses at a nice pitch by Crawford. Crawford, the big lefty, swings and misses, and an off-speed pitch, and down goes Brian Gomez. First strikeout for Crawford. That'll bring up the bottom of the order, and Rick Mercado, who had an RBI against the Eagles last game, swings and misses. It's a nice breaking ball by Crawford. Looks like control is the name of Crawford's game. This one's up high. So it's 2-0 now to Mercado. Over at second base, Steven Franco waiting to come home. David Gonzalez over at first. 2 down, and this one's fouled back, and Cousins runs out of room. So it's 10-0. 10 runs on 15 hits for the Eagles. No runs on a hit. 2 hits now for the Cardinals. And it's 1-2, or check. Should be 2-2 to Mercado, with 2 down and 2 on. Swing and a miss, and down goes Mercado and the Cardinals. But they do get a hit and leave a couple off of Kyle Crawford, and we go to the top of the 6th inning, 10-0 Eagles. Eagles coming up to face Danny Villegas, and Kaz Cousins steps in. Kaz took over at catcher. And first pitch is outside. Fastball. And that's a strike, 1-1. Actually 2-1. This was fouled back. Now it's 2-2. On deck is Trent Miera, and following that would be R.J. Fuhr, and then the top of the order. Everything started off with the bottom of the order, and R.J. Fuhr, this one's fouled back by Cousins. Back in the third inning, when Fuhr started things off with a bunt, stole a base, and was knocked home by Bryce Savage in his RBI single. Then an RBI double by Justin McCullough. Grant Palmer with an RBI single. And this one is in the dirt. Nice block by Gomez. And it's a full count at 3-2. And then another run-scoring single by Nigel Nootbaar. And this one's grounded on a hop, smothered by Banuelos. Picks it up and throws him out. Good hustle, though, by Kaz Cousins. 4-3 on the putout. That'll bring up Trent Miera. In for a strike. So Miera is 0 for 3. Looks at strike 2. Grounded to third, was on a fielder's choice and lined out to the pitcher. Curveball, and that's grounded to second. Banuelos gets it on the nice hop and puts it away for out number 2. So the bottom of the order, and we have a new batter. R.J. Fuhr takes a seat after a nice afternoon. In the top of the 6th inning, number 17, Quinones. Looks at ball 1. James Quinones, a 5'9" senior, was 1 for 2 with two RBI and a run scored the last time the Cardinals and the Eagles got together. So another ball in the dirt to Quinones, who comes in batting .213. Looks at a strike. 3-1 now to James. Fastball, and that's fouled right up the chute and hits the net. So now it's a full count, 3-2 to Quinones with 2 down and nobody on. Danny Villegas looking for his first strikeout of the afternoon and bounces it into the dirt. And down to first goes Quinones. That'll bring up the top of the order, and Zach Stone, who came in the top of the 5th inning, had a base hit and scored. It looks at strike 1. This one's hit high in the air to center field. The wind gets this one and guides it into the glove of Alex Alvarado. And down goes Zach Stone and the Eagles. So no No runs, no hits, a man left for the Eagles. We're going to the bottom of the 6th. It's a 10-1 score for the Eagles. Got a nice crowd here today at Lawndale High School on a blustery, windy day. Here it is, almost May, and we're wearing jackets. Wind coming right off of the ocean. And Kyle Crawford out there for his second inning of work. Pitches a ball in the dirt to Alex Alvarado. Swings and misses, and it's 1-1. Alex Alvarado, the top of the order, followed by Steven Randolph and Dylan Banuelos. Alex is 0 for 2. Fouls this one right into Kaz Cousins' feet. Alex grounded out to third base, leading things off for the Cardinals in the first inning, and struck out in the third. This one's fouled at the plate. Still stays 1-2. But boy, Josh Bornstein was very stingy today, looking for his 4th win. Went 4 innings, giving up no runs on just 1 hit and 4 strikeouts. This one's in the dirt, 2-2. In the dirt, 3-2. So the Cardinals looking for their first win in Pioneer League action. This one is on the inside corner, and Alex jackknifed out of the way, but is called strike 3 by home plate umpire Steve Morgan. 3rd strikeout now for Crawford. And Steven Randolph steps in and grounds it through into right field for a base hit. Rudolph is thrown out on a good play by Zach Stone coming in, as Steven couldn't hit it too hard, but Stone was playing almost like a rover in right field and threw him out. So 9-3 in the scorebook. And Dylan Banuelos steps in. So that's kind of like your initiation onto the varsity squad there, Steven. Steven Rudolph, boy, what a story. He came up and impressed the coaches so much, they said, here's your varsity sweater right now. He said, Coach, I think I want to stay in JV for a while and get some experience. And so he did for a few games, but Steven is on the varsity team now. As Dylan steps in against Crawford and grounds this one to second base, picked up by Miera. And 1-2-3 go the Cardinals. 4-3 on the putout. No runs, no hits, nobody left for the Redbirds. We're going to the top of the 7th with the Eagles flying high. David Bell for the Eagles will start things off, followed by Justin McCullough and Grant Palmer, or at least Justin Spot. Danny Villegas out there for his 3rd inning of work, and that fastball stays up. Seventh inning, and this one is on the inside corner for a strike. This one's fouled off, 1-2. So David Bell came in the top of the 4th inning, struck out, and then flew out to right field in the 5th inning. So this is his 3rd at bat. Taking over for Matt Mendoza. And this one's up high. Full count, 3-2. So it's fouled back again, 3-2. So the designated hitter spot for Craig Cousins has not produced anything. They are 0 for 4, although the Eagles lead it 10-0. one's in the dirt. A leadoff walk for David Bell. Second walk of the afternoon for Villegas, and in steps Justin McCullough, who is 3 for 4 with a home run, a double, a single, and 3 RBI. Big swing and a miss. Justin is the big man on campus here with the 6'2" senior, calls time. Has 5 home runs to lead the Eagles. And had 19 RBI coming in, now has 22 RBI on the year. Fouls this one back. Now it's 0-2 to Justin McCullough, who did strike out in the first inning. Nigel Nootbaar leads the Eagles with 34 RBI coming in, and did not have a run batted in today, although he did have 3 hits. Check that, 2 hits and a walk, and 2 runs scored and a stolen base. But McCullough with the big blow today. Big 2-run home run. And he grounds this one foul. The way the wind is blowing, you had to really hit it hard to get it out of here, and that's exactly what Justin did. That came back in the 4-run 4th inning. As this one's grounded into right field for a base hit. And the runner moves up. Bell is at second. And on at first with his 4th hit of the day is Justin McCullough. Two singles, a double, and a home run. And stepping in is Grant Palmer. First pitch is in the dirt. Grant is 3 for 4. 3 singles, 1 of a bunt single. The other 2 have been into center field. Fouls this one back. Had a 2-run single back in the 5th inning. Had a run-scoring single back in the 3rd inning. So for Grant, with 3 RBI today, now has 23. He's having a nice season. A 5'11" junior was 3 for 4 with 4 RBI last time the Cardinals played earlier this week. Or the Eagles played the Cardinals. 1-2 now to Grant. Has shown a lot of patience up at the plate. And sends this one the other way into right field. It's slicing away from Gonzalez. And a nice catch by David. As the wind caught that one. Looked like one of my drives off the tee. That one was slicing right very fast. And let's see that. Gonzalez just there getting that diving to make the catch. Nice play. That'll bring up Eric Gronhagen. He fouls that off the screen. Gronhagen came in for Nootbaar back in the 5th inning and popped out to the second baseman. So 1 down and 2 on for the Eagles, who lead it 10-0 in the 7th inning. Villegas, big looping curveball, and that bends in for strike 2. 0-2 now to Eric Gronhagen. 5'9" freshman. Another curveball, and that's outside. Got to be pretty special to make the varsity club at El Segundo as a freshman. Another curveball, and that one is grounded fair in left field down the line. Rounding third and coming home is David Bell, and cruising into third base is McCullough on the RBI double by Eric Gronhagen. But he really turned on that pitch. Hit that down the line. For Gronhagen, that's his first RBI as a varsity player. And that'll bring up Michael Bundy. And this one is into right field. Gonzalez fields it and brings it in. Coming in to score is McCullough, and it's 12-0 Eagles. So runners at the corners. As Bundy gets an RBI. And that'll bring up Kaz Cousins, the left-handed catcher. So one down. Villegas trying to get things going here. It's ball goes back to the backstop, and the runner at first advances to second base on the pass ball. Or wild pitch. So Villegas just needs to calm down and pitch strikes here to Kaz Cousins. This one's popped straight up. And that goes back. Good thing we had the wind, or that might have come down here in the crowd. So it's 1-2 now to Cousins. In the dirt. Nice stop by Gomez. Brian's had a big day back there. Villegas checks the runners. Curveball, and that is low. Now it's 3-2. Just missed on the breaking ball. Now the bases are loaded. And that's the third walk given up by Villegas, and that brings in Trent Miera. Trent is 0 for 4, was on a fielder's choice back in the third inning, but is grounded out to third, lined to pitcher, and grounded to second base. This one's lined near the dugout down the first base line. 0-1. Gronhagen at third base with an RBI double. Check that. Michael Bundy is at second base with an RBI single. This one's fouled at the plate, 0-2. And Kaz Cousins is on first base with a walk. So the Cardinals can get out of this with a double play. And that's how their infield is set up, looking for two. In at the corner is Josue Loya. And not covering the runner at first is Rick Mercado with the bases loaded. 1-2 now to Miera. Fastball, and that swung on and missed. So 2 down now. First strikeout for Villegas, and boy, did he really need that one. David Gonzalez gave up 4 runs, or check that, 9 runs on 12 hits in his 4 innings. Struck out 3, walked 1. And the first pitch to James Quinones is in the dirt for a ball. Danny Villegas took over in the top of the 5th. He's given up 3 runs now, as this one is grounded to second, and trying to chase it down and can't make the play is Dylan Banuelos. Just couldn't stick a fork in that one, and the runners move up 90 feet. And that means coming in to score is Eric Gronhagen, and that makes it 13-0. Taking third is Michael Bundy. Over at second is Kaz Cousins. And Quinones is on at first on the fielder's choice. And that'll bring up the ninth batter of the inning. And the top of the order, and Zach Stone with 2 down and the bases loaded. Stone took over in the top of the 5th and pops this one up, and Banuelos has a chance to end the inning, and does. But the damage is done. 3 more runs in for the Eagles, and it's 13-0. And the Cardinals coming up, it's their last call. Peter Ray is the new pitcher for the El Segundo Eagles to close things out. And Peter is a 6'2" senior. And he comes in with a 3.63 ERA and 25 strikeouts. Believe it or not, Nigel Nootbaar leads with 29 strikeouts. Nigel, he's Mr. Everything on this team. So Ray is going to get some warm-up tosses, and he will face Danny Villegas, coming in doing some nice relief work to close things out for David Gonzalez, giving up 3 runs on 7 hits. He struck out 1 and walked 3. And he steps in now against Peter Ray. Throwing a heater. Looks like the big hoss. That's your closer right there. Getting in some work today. Curveball. And that's in the dirt, 0-2. So Danny, this is his 3rd time up, is 0-2. Bounced out to Josh Bornstein in the 1st inning, and this one's a high chopper to the shortstop, and can't pick it up is Grant Palmer. So Villegas is on the error. And that'll bring up Josue Loya. Loya had a hit back in the 5th inning and popped up to shortstop in the 2nd. Ground ball to 3rd, and can't pick it up is Michael Bundy, but he goes on to 1st to make the easy play. Wanted to go for the double play and bounced out 5-3 is the put out. 1 down, and that'll bring up Steven Franco. Franco struck out looking in the 2nd inning and was on a fielder's choice back in the 3rd. Check that, the 5th inning. So over at second base now is Villegas. And here comes the 1-0 pitch from Peter Ray to Franco. Swing and a miss. And just when you thought the wind might be dying down, as the sun starts to get a little lower in the west, the wind starts to pick up. 2-1. This one's in the dirt, but not far away for Villegas to go down to 3rd base, so now it's 3-1. And that wind is really starting to blow down. Are we at Candlestick Park? This one's a bouncer, cut off at 2nd base, throws on to 1st. Miera to Batty. Actually, yeah, to Batty, and that's going to do it for Steve Franco. 4-3. So 2 down for David Gonzalez. Advancing to 3rd base is Danny Villegas. So David Gonzalez, who is the starting pitcher, went 4 innings. Swings and misses at that one. And it's 1-1. Gonzalez 0 for 2 struck out, and now the ball gets away from the catcher. Here comes Villegas. The ball's waiting for him with Ray, and called out at home is Villegas. So that's going to do it for the ball game, as that was the final out and an exciting way to end it, as Kaz Cousins did a good job of getting back to the backstop and throwing it to Peter Ray for the final out, and that's going to do it. 13 runs for the Eagles on 19 hits and 2 errors, and for the Cardinals, no runs on 2 hits and no errors. The Eagles improved to 6-0 in league play and 15-9 overall. The Cardinals fall to 0-6 in Pioneer League play and 2-16 overall. We'll be back and close this one out right after this on Channel 22 Sports. Back here at Lawndale High School, final score 13-0 in favor of the El Segundo Eagles, flying high in the Pioneer League, now leading things at 6-0, and also 15-9, 15-6 overall in their schedule. And the Eagles were led by Justin McCullough. He had 4 hits. He had 2 singles, a double, and a 2-run home run. Also on the mound, they were led by Josh Bornstein, who is now 4-2 overall, and he went 4 innings, gave up no runs on 2 hits, check that, 1 hit, and struck out 4 batters. Meanwhile, the Cardinals have to give the nod to Danny Villegas, who came in and pitched 3 innings and gave up 3 runs on 7 hits, struck out 1 and walked 1. David Gonzalez went 4 innings, gave up 9 runs on 12 hits, and struck out 3. That's going to do it for Lawndale High School. For Tom Strickfaden and the terrific Channel 22 Sports crew, I'm Lou Stowers saying, until next time, so long.